here. Why is this happening? But I'm sure it seems like a plant.
But then there are also scenes that are extremely long.
But that was I was fascinated by that. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But that literally, my mouth kept on dropping.
The seance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that seance was amazing, which, let's bring it around to
Eva Green.
Eva Green, who normally I'm not a big fan of because I feel she's very cold, and she's always just cold. But
that's what this role needs.
This role is.
But that was like she's doing her usual shtick. But that scene, as over the top as it was, and as long as it was, and how extended she had to do this for, I was like, Emmy.
It was an extremely strong performance. It was because she's very controlled and she's stern and she is a sort of psychic character. But that's the scene where we got to see her let go and be crazy, and it wasn't bad crazy. Penny Dreadful is a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen done right. It's beautiful, literary, creepy, and compelling. See it.
This is one of the most original horror concepts on television in years. I'm jealous that I didn't come up with it first, and I'm dying to see where it goes. See it.
Penny Dreadful does have a fascinating world and some interesting characters. However, it's a bit too pulpy, and in the first 2 episodes, it was too much for me to wrap my head around. Stream it. Well, our votes add up to 2.5 tickets, which is a see it for Penny Dreadful. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. The logistics of the whole thing.
Let it go. Let it go.
Oh, God.
You're watching a live sports presentation of Texas Student Television.
Playing for pride and a franchise first here in the capital city. The Austin Aztex taking on the Houston Dutch Lions. The Lions are trying for the first time in franchise history to knock off the Austin Aztex. The Aztecs not playing for much, but trying to get a win and sustain a one-loss season here in the final regular season game of the USL PDL. And here in Austin, Texas, a little bit rainy, starting just now, but certainly still playable here for this game. And thank you for joining with us here. Brooks Cabina alongside Ross Skelton for our last regular season game with the Austin Aztecs. And, Austin locking things up at first place and Houston out of it. This one's just playing for pride. We should get a good one anyways.
Oh, absolutely. And, we can all remember last weekend how incredible that game was. Last second header from Marshall Tucker to tie things up. So, yeah, absolutely, we've got a fun one tonight. It might not be the best for the fans with a little bit of rain coming in, but as a player, you've got to love a little bit of, a little bit of that rain to cool you off. And, yeah, it's gonna be a fun one.
Right. This rain won't stop the game, and even if lightning comes through, that might change a few things, but we're going to be broadcasting throughout this one. But like we said, the standings for this one, Austin Aztecs in first place. They lead the entire league, and they'll be going on to the Southern Conference Championship next week. They lead it there at 32 points. The Dutch Lions at 6 points. The Aztecs, they're looking to play either Laredo, who plays Houston 2 days from now.
Sure. Yeah, it's a massive contrast, right? On one side of the table, you've got someone, Houston, who hasn't fared well this year. Kind of pretty poor performance for them. Last game of the season, trying to get something out of this year and kind of maybe coming in next year. And then you have a polar opposite of Austin that's just been absolutely ruthless, taking care of business day in, day out. So yeah, it's going to be cool to see that. It's going to be good to see how Houston performs in the last game. And it's also going to be great to see Austin. I mean, listen, we're a week away from playoffs, what it's all about. And so you're going to see Coach Manny experiment with some players, but also try to solidify that starting lineup because it's all about getting games. It's all about getting games and getting that ability to play with one another because, again, next week, that's when the big show happens. So this is actually a great game in front of our home fans to prepare for next week.
Right. And we got a chance to talk about that starting lineup before the game, and we got a chance to look through that. Just who on the Austin side do you think is going to stick out the most today?
I like goalkeeper Devin Perales. He actually, fun enough, went to my alma mater, Coastal Carolina. He has been a veteran pretty much for this team. I mean, he's been there for 3 full seasons. He pretty much had the glove since the day he walked into this place. He holds this swagger about him, and he's just confident, which is what you want to see in a keeper. He's got 3 shutouts, and I know Devin, he wants another one tonight, especially with the ground being a little bit greasy and the rain. And Houston, has nothing to lose, right? So they're going to go forward. I expect to see a big game from Devin and close it out because I know that guy likes no goals against. So Devin is someone, our goalkeeper, that I think is going to have a big game tonight.
All right, and Devin, a part of the team last year that gave up the least amount of goals in the entire league this year. 11 goals throughout the entire season. A little knockback, but still at the top of the league, and he's playing at the top of his game. But whenever you look at the Houston side, what do you see on Houston on their side?
Yeah, well, again, like I said, they've got nothing to lose, right? They can push forward and be, attackative. Wesley Farhar scored 2 goals as of late, and I think scored against the Aztecs. So he's someone who's got some confidence and got some ability to go forward. And so I see Wes Farhar doing pretty well. And let's see if they can create and be aggressive. Again, I can't harp on it enough. There's nothing, if Houston gets beat 5-0, there's not, they're already last, they're already completely out, so they might look to have fun. They might look to be more forward-thinking. They might look to start planning on next year and say, hey, who here wants to be back on this squad next year? And let's look for them to push on.
All right, and Houston playing for pride and trying to play spoilers tonight and also on Saturday against the Laredo Heat. We're 3 points behind Midland Odessa to try and get into the playoffs. They need that win, and Laredo losing. The only win Houston has this year is against Laredo, so they've got a lot to play for these next couple of games.
Oh, they sure do. I mean, that's got to be a great soccer to watch. People playing for their lives. Playoffs are on the line. I think we're in a fantastic position because even when I played a couple years ago, I remember those games late off in the season when we had to get a win or had to get a tie just to get into the playoffs. So I think you would have asked Coach Manny before the season, hey, would you say a game in hand of the season ending that you would be absolutely guaranteed first place, hosting the playoffs, and getting pretty much a practice warm-up game with Houston? I think you would have said absolutely yes. So good seeing them compete, and it's great that we can, get a great warm-up game, if you will, for next week.
All right, and in his first season, that's not very bad. And we also got a chance to talk to Coach Manuel down on the field with our silent reporter, Shelby Hodges.
All right, thanks, Brooke. Like you said, we're here with Coach Manuel Buentello. And last week, you guys kind of ended up, wasn't a fabulous game, but ended in a draw. What have you guys been working on this week in practice in order to make sure you guys get a win tonight?
Actually, we went back to our basics and what's made us very, very successful, which is a high-tempo type game, and that is what we kind of hope to execute today.
And you guys have played Houston a couple times. What do you think is the biggest challenges they pose to y'all as a team?
I think the biggest challenge is ourselves, is just make sure that we don't get in a difficult situation to begin with, and the game will take care of itself.
And also tonight's game, the win or draw, whatever happens, is going to decide who is at the top for the entire USL-PDL League. So how important is the win tonight for y'all?
It's no different than any other game. We always say that we're going to play one game at a time, so we come out here with a desire to win this game.
Great. Well, thank you, Coach, and good luck with your game. And Brooks, back to you guys in the booth.
Introducing the visiting Houston Dutch Lions. Number 2, in defense, Cameron Free. Number 24, defender, Delvin Iloba.
And we welcome you back to the broadcast here on Texas Student Television and simulcasting on air in 91.7 KBRX FM. I'd like to remind you that this broadcast is powered by Verizon 4G LTE. And we're here at House Park between the Houston Dutch Lions and the Austin Aztecs. Mentioned earlier, the Dutch Lions never beating the Aztecs in their entire history. Well, short history, 3 years, but that's a long stretch for any team.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And you'd have to think that Houston's got to be up for this game. I mean, I came across teams in college and the professional level where you have that team's number. And Aztecs has, or Austin has Houston's number. And you'd like to think that that's a point of pride for Austin as well. Hey, we have the mental edge, and we also have the soccer edge, if you will. And so you definitely think that Austin's going to absolutely say we're not losing this game. I mean, there's a point of pride and there's a point of kind of ego when you have a team against the ropes for year in, year out. And on the opposite end of that, you'd want to think that Houston wants to bomb on and see some stuff. So I think we'll see a pretty open game. And again, with this little bit of weather, it's kind of nice. It almost has a little bit of a Europe feel to it, a little bit of a overcast, little drizzle. And again, it's all about getting games, especially for these players in the summer league. So they're going to be excited to play in the rain. I mean, it's a fun thing to do. The ball skips a little bit more. You can run a little bit faster and a little bit quicker. You're not as hot and tired, so it's going to be a good one.
Right, and the first time tonight is the first time the Austin Aztecs have ever played in the rain.
Oh, wow.
So this will be a new experience for them and a new experience for us. And we'll get a chance to look at exactly who will be on the field tonight, our starting lineups. For the Austin Aztecs, at goalkeeper, the player to watch from Ross Kelly and I, Devin Perales. At the defense, Cruz Aronos, Sebastian Pineda, Travis Golden, and Kalen Ryden. In the midfield are Alessio Sorio, Justin Franz, and Hector Gomez. And 3 forwards tonight with Adam Black, Cito Sion, and Chuy Cortez. And 3 forwards tonight, and Adam Black coming back into the starting lineup after last week.
Absolutely. I mean, Adam, you and I both agree, is a fantastic player. He's got a great left foot. He stays active. He sifts around the box, and he's able to get goals. So, I think Coach Manny's doing a good job tonight. I don't know if he's putting him up there to see if he's going to start next week, or he's getting some games in him. But I think Adam Black's definitely a viable starter for next week, and it's great to see him out there. Absolutely.
All right, Adam Black, the leading goal scorer on the Aztecs. Got to make sure that you have him playoff ready.
Absolutely. And like I mentioned, we don't know what exact lineup Coach Manny's going to come from throughout the year. For the playoffs. But I love the way he's kept it. He's kept everyone honest. He's given people games, and it's all about earning your time. When you're out there, go out there and earn your position. I think Adam Black's had a great year, and he's done that by banging in the most goals. But there's some couple people on the bench. We don't know if they're just having a small knock or they're coming back. Maybe we see Danny Freed come in and play a little bit in the second half because he's a fantastic player who's been coming back from a little bit of an injury. You got Marshall Tucker, who actually is on the bench, who's actually a substitute from that game winner last weekend. So you would think he solidified his starting spot. But again, we don't know the behind the scenes of maybe Marshall's a little bit tight right now and we're going to rest. And that's the good thing about this game is you can either rest some people who have a knock, but if you're fit and you're going to be starting next week, you're probably going to be playing right now. So you don't know who has a small knock in the background. You'd think Jeff Harwell would probably start next weekend if he's completely fit as well.
Right, and also Bubba Job on the substitute there. And as we introduce the Houston Dutch Lions, we'll pause for the national anthem before. And now for the starting lineups for Houston. At goalkeeper is Charles Schober. And in the defense, Cameron Free, Kelvin Yoba, Michael Stewart, and Mitchell Ostrowski. In the midfield are Jack Hayes, David Perez, and Wessel Verhaar, player to watch tonight. And then the attackers, Remark Gordon, Joseph Jackson, and Jorge Gonterius. And we got a chance to talk about Wessel Verhaar earlier on. Scored a goal in each of the last 2 games. Scored a goal against the Aztecs, but the last time that the Houston Dutch Lions won against Laredo on May 24th, the player to do that, Avi Vasquez, and he's on the bench today.
Yeah, and also on a side note on Houston, this is a team that really kind of hasn't found their identity in the Mid-South. I still remember, and I actually played a season, believe it or not, with the Houston Leones out of Southwest Houston in the Richmond-Rosenberg area. And that was a team that folded or stopped playing and whatnot. And so the Dutch Lions have come in the Woodland Spring area, which is the exact opposite corner of Houston. Only been around for 3 years. Really haven't really haven't kind of been a team that you'd reckon with. But if you think about Houston and the quality of soccer players there, you'd think it'd be a bit better. So I also remember a couple years ago it was a complete Dutch organization, obviously the Dutch Lions, and they were kind of affiliated with the Ohio Dutch Lions in the USL. So you'd think they would be a little bit better, and you never know. Maybe next year is the year they turn the corner and get a little bit more of a grip on the PDL. Especially with Austin leaving to go professional, you'd like to see how that organization ranks up. But you'd think Houston could kind of get more of a grip and start making a name for himself. And you never know. Maybe it could start now. Are they going to be a physical team? Are they going to be a quick team? Are they going to be a passing soccer team? Are they going to be a very dynamic team? You really haven't got that full team aura. It changes year to year, which is great about Austin is what we play. It doesn't matter what's the squad. Zach moves up to assistant coach. It's the same. Paul Dalglish, a fantastic coach, leaves, who was unbelievable for us. It's the same. It's always an attacking play, and we always expect to be on the top. So we'll see if Houston is up for it tonight.
Well, the Aztecs win the toss and get the ball, and they are in their home navy and gold. Houston in their orange. And to start off, getting it back in to Golden in the backside. Golden back in the lineup after an injury in the first couple of games. And they try to kick it up and over, trying to get it to Aronos, but he can't hang on to it. It'll be first turnover of the game.
Yeah, great run from Cruz, though, Aronos, to get up that high. You'd like to see that out of your outside backs to be really kind of forward-thinking.
And back on the left side, Mitch Ostrowski. And you talk about the youth of this organization, only 3 years into it. It takes a while to start bringing in new players, and Mitchell Ostrowski, a new addition to the team out of the Clear Lake area, just starting to build that foundation. And you were a part of the second coming of the Austin Aztecs.
Absolutely.
How long does it take to build that up?
Well, I think the first and foremost thing is having that great backroom staff, and I think Austin was fantastic in the fact that Dave Markley, Rick Granrud, everyone kind of that really made this organization top notch. And once you have that, and then of course coaching, going out there and grabbing a Paul Dalglish was incredible to come in as the second coming. So everything in the back room was just completely professional, and that let the boys go out there and just play. So I'm not saying Houston's not like that at all. I'm just saying a huge thing to get something rolling is getting that backroom staff completely professional, and then it lets those kids just think about soccer.
And Kalen Ryan on the left side gets a nice steal out of the corner, see if he can get a crossover. He does, but it's going to be bad. Wow. Picked up and almost a goal. Just wide out on that side, and my goodness, did he luck out of that one.
Adam Black nearly gets a tap in from just being in the right place in the right time, and it goes to show you how slick this ground is. That wasn't even a shot. It was going at 2 miles an hour. The keeper just couldn't hold it because of how slick and greasy it might be out there.
Wow, so the first shot over there goes a little wide off of the foot of Adam Black, the player watching the cross there. Defended well, knocked out. Still not yet out of trouble. Hector Gomez still on it.
You see how crazy it is in the box on the corners just because, again, of the weather.
And still attacking is Chuy Cortez. Nice pass over to Osorio on the left side. Back to Cortez. Trying to work a little bit of a triangle scheme. Saw that last week. Now they've got a bit of a square. Cortez loses it there.
Bit of a long touch.
Oh, and chasing is Adam Black. Doesn't give up on it. And over comes Cito Sion, and a shot on the right side wide.
Yeah, Franzi's got a pretty good shot there. Great leave by Adam Black, and decent shot from Justin. He kind of got a little bit away from it again. I don't know if it just slid off the side of his right foot, but loved what Austin's doing there. You have Kalen all the way up to the 20 yards out from the goal. The two center backs in the half field, and we're possessing, making those triangles, like you said, in the third man run.
Well, certainly more attacking than they were last week, and this has been a topic of point as this one goes out of bounds, and Aztecs will get it at midfield. Aztecs sometimes needed another goal from the other team to start kick-starting their intensity, but tonight that is not the case.
Well, in all fairness as well, I think Midland Odessa was a lot better of a squad, if you will, than Houston, and so I think Austin is probably making a point of pride of saying, "Hey guys, let's not put ourselves in a bad situation like we've been doing. Let's get up there and let's just play good soccer, possession soccer, the entire 90 minutes." And they've started well here.
Well, Houston has struggled to keep it in on the Aztecs end, and chasing over is Sion on the right side. Gets a shot and off the goalpost, and will roll out of bounds. And that'll be a goalie kick for the Dutch Lions.
Cito's looking good for playoffs with a shorter haircut this week, it looks like.
A little unrecognizable from up here.
He looks quick.
But I can notice those green shoes from anywhere. Clear to the middle. Cito back with it. Adam Black chasing.
There you go.
Out on the right end. See if he tries to cross there, trying to hold on to it. And that might be a little due to the slickness of the ground, but it's kicked down and will be a throw-in. Aronos will take it. But it's nice to see Cito Sion out there getting a kick early just to try and get a shot and throw in to Cito.
It sure is. He's a player that needs the ball early to get going.
And the Lions needed that turnover. Can't hang on to it, and the Aztecs will get another throw-in. And Cito, 11 points on the year. That's the third most on the Aztecs. You'll normally see him more at the top of that list. But that just might be a significant sign just how well Chuy Cortez has played this year with 5 goals. Adam Black as well with 5. Here's the throw-in over on the side, and it's blocked away.
Oh, Kalen.
Almost headed from Kalen Ryden.
Kalen was in back post. Obviously, defender's first thought is that head. And I liked it, but maybe he should have let that thing come across his body and slot it with his left foot. But, you know, great place to be in the right spot at the right time. Header just got a little bit away from him. But, yeah, that was very close.
Well, that's exactly where you want to be placed.
Yeah. And you don't know. Maybe he thought, hey, let me go for my head just because how slick it is out there. And you probably have a better chance of definitely connecting.
And Cortez tries to chip it over. But Franz can't get to it, and it'll be kicked out of bounds. Or remain Aztecs ball, though. Thrown in quickly. Franz has it, and it's stolen away by Jorge Contreras. See if the Dutch Lions can hold on to possession. A nice little bump on Osorio, but charging a Raptor is Aronos. He gets it back.
Yeah, and Houston can't even string, honestly, 3 or 4 passes together. And Austin's looking for the kill.
A shot from Cito, and it's blocked away, and he can't hold on to it again. So it almost slipped through. Another shot from Cito, out from about 45 feet or so.
Yeah, and you'll get a goal tonight just being hungry and catching rebounds. I remember coaches used to harp on that all the time. I mean, just following up on shots. You hear that from when you're 5 years old in soccer. Mm-hmm. If a midfielder takes a shot, I'm telling you, Adam Black's nearly had 2 just from following up.
Well, the Dutch Lions struggling to hang on to possession, and we haven't even gotten a chance to test our Aztecs player to watch, Devin Perales. He's kind of been hanging out on his end.
Yeah, and it might sound boring, but I tell you, a keeper, I know he wants touches and saves, but I'm sure he's just as happy sitting back there and organizing and not getting touches. You know, they say
there's his first.
Yeah, absolutely, and they say Howard was fantastic in the World Cup. He absolutely was. But I also heard Casey Keller and some of those old veteran keepers saying, no matter how good a keeper is, you give him so many shots, 1 or 2 is going to go in. Right? So you want to keep the number of shots low no matter who you are.
And a blooper pass trying to get over to Cortez. He ends up getting it. Back over to Ryden and see what they can work with. And, as great a performance that was from Howard, I bet he'd trade that for 1 shot on goal for the entire game any day.
Exactly.
Now to Cito on the right end. Tries to hang on to it, can't get to it, and he's going to be tripped down. They won't call it. Down in midfield, chasing after the Dutch Lions. Oh, and a trip up from Aronos. They're going to call a foul. Yeah. Yellow card worthy?
It was close. It might have been. I think it was so early that the ref lets those slide. But great bit of pace from Houston. And I don't know. From here, I don't know if he nipped the ball, but that easily could have been a yellow card. But that's how soccer goes. Sometimes you get an early foul, you can go a little bit hard in the first 10 minutes. Now, if that happens in the 65th minute, that could be yellow.
Well, this will be a free kick taken by David Perez. Perez, no points in the year in 412 minutes. Tries to get it across the middle. Headed by Joe Jackson. Off the foot here with Lars Wilimski. Tries to get it forward, and Devin will pick it up. That was the best shot the Dutch Lions had all game so far. The furthest I believe they've gotten offensively.
Yeah, and Austin can't switch off. You see the ball there. It could have bopped off someone, and it could have been a breakaway like we've seen week in, week out. Austin's been the better team this year in the league, and of course it shows that in the standings. But at the next level, and when you go to professional, and when you go to playoffs, of course, you can't switch off. Any team can get a goal. I mean, even if Houston's dead last, they're a good team.
And a shot off the foot goes out of bounds, and it'll be a goal kick for the Lions. That'll be taken from Schober. And Charles Schober, only 2 games played this entire season. 7 goals against in those. 4 losses. Coming in relief a few times for the original starter, Emmanuel Frias.
Yeah, and Manny's a good friend of mine, good keeper as well, so it must have been a tough year because he normally does not let a lot of goals go in. I know that.
9 games played, 21 goals against. I mean, whenever you've got 1 win and 5 losses, sometimes the coach just decides to try up something different.
Of course.
Go through the depth chart, especially at the USL PDL level, trying to get some development in.
Yeah.
Give Schober a shot.
And we spoke about it as well. This game doesn't mean anything, but at the same point, when you play soccer, when you practice, everything is geared up for a game. The way you eat, the way you train, the way you rest, the way you recover, the way you prep. So you need games under your belt. Any player needs games. Every keeper, every player, every coach, every organization. It's kind of what you build up for. So again, does this game mean anything? No, on paper, absolutely not. But the team needs games to stay fit, to stay healthy, to stay in the mix. You get fit playing 90-minute games. It's called game fit or game shape.
And a free kick taken from Cito towards the goal, and over Schober catches it and takes away the offensive opportunity for the Aztecs. And Schober playing pretty well so far. A couple of slips on the ball, partially for the weather, but he's been attacked quite a lot. About 4 shots on goal in this first half.
Yeah, he gets his body behind the ball, which is good. So even if it slips, he's got a presence there.
Ooh, a nice steal away from Cortez, and Black tries to tap it behind the back there. It's going to end up out of bounds. They'll hold on to it.
Wow, great hustle from Adam Black, and you get a throw-in out of it. So that's huge.
If he had gotten some power under that one and got it to Cortez, you don't know where that might have ended up. Golden with it now into the back of the Aztecs end. Over to Sebastian Pineda. Pineda in his first appearance with the Aztecs.
And I actually like these type of games as defenders, believe it or not. You sit there for Austin and you just, look at this.
And over here, Ryan tries to get after it.
Oh, wow.
Leads it too far. See if he can hold on to it. Heads it back in. And the Lions will kick it out of bounds. And keeps it in. Lions hold on to possession, but it'll go into midfield. Golden at it. Over to Cortez. Into the middle. Got on by Hector Gomez. Tries to get it out, and it's going to go right to Charles Schober. And if Kalen Ryan had been able to hold that down, that was a heck of an opportunity, but that's a tough one to hold on to.
Yeah, it is. I think his eyes were bigger than, he saw it, he was excited, and look at this. Chewy gets the ball.
And Chewy's got it right in the middle. Back over. Hector Gomez in the middle. Fires, and it's blocked away.
Hector reminds me a little bit of the way Tony Rocca plays. He's got a great left foot. He comes in, box to box. So he's been good so far.
And at midfield, trying to hold on to it, and they slip and slide, and the ball goes right into the foot of Michael Stewart, out of bounds. Aztecs ball. A little difficult on the turf. Get the footing on.
Yeah, especially when it's wet. When it's dry, you can kind of cut pretty hard. But when it's wet on turf, you never know. You could just, your cleats really never dig completely in. While if you're in soft ground, you can definitely wear the studs when it's wet.
While chasing after is John Coldler. He won't get to it, and Ryan will have a throw-in back into Devin Perales.
Adam Black flicks it on, and really not a lot of other forward runs off him. I know it's a big kick, maybe bring it down there and get Hector involved or Franz.
And over chasing Black going after it. We mentioned Sebastian Pineda, hometown Bogota from Colombia. 22 years of age in his first year with the Aztecs. See if they get some kind of look from him here that they'll be able to use some more depth throughout the playoffs. They have plenty of injuries this season. Andres Cuero still optional.
Yeah.
Still out today with his ankle.
Yeah, he's been out for quite some time. I'd like to see if he can, if they're finally gearing him up for next week. And like I said, can he get out there and start after being a month out? You know, you don't know if he starts or if he comes off the bench or if he can even go for that matter. Right. So it's tough to get a knock in the Mid-South, and the PDL this season is very quick and very intense. And so if you're hurt, 3 or 4 games can fly by in the blink of an eye. So,
well, this one out of bounds. Dutch Lions get back to it. They're trying to sustain some offense on the Aztecs end. Only one shot on goal so far. 14 minutes in, still no score here in House Park in Austin, and an opportunity here on the right side. Joe Jackson with it, tries to get in the corner. Back over to Perez. In the middle now. And losing onto it, Cito Sion steals it away.
And that's what I'm talking about, switching off. The weather is obviously wet. Joe Jackson has been an absolute beast up there, and he's got a big body, and he's obviously very tall too. So, him running at goal and him, bopping around, you've got to stay switched on, and you've always got to communicate, no matter what, what you think of the other team.
With the little success the Dutch Lions have had, have usually been instigated by Joe Jackson. 3 assists on the year, a goal, 5 points, leads it only second to Javier Vasquez. But you need a guy that goes in there and starts stirring things up, almost like a Cortez.
Yeah. Just mixing it around, just kind of annoying. If you're a forward, you want to annoy the center backs. You just want to be their worst nightmare. You want to be on their ankles. You want to, everywhere they turn, you want to be there. You want to be finding the gaps in between them. So,
and this one in the middle, Dutch Lions holding on to most of the possession for the past couple of minutes on this end. Back to David Perez, chasing after is Verhaar. And it goes back to Perales. And taps over Pineda. Back to Perales. We'll see if he actually boots this one. Back to Golden. Holding on to possession here. Just whenever you go back to the goalie and back to your defenders, are you just slowing the game down, just trying to build things up offensively?
Yeah, you're slowing the game down. One thing we've been doing since forever, since 3 to 4 seasons ago, is the keeper has it. Your outside backs get wide, if you can see that. So when Dev has it, the 2 center backs completely split, and your 2 outside backs, your left and right back, go all the way up, 30, 40 yards up. So the goal is Devin becomes a sweeper, and he's got great feet, so he ends up being able to mix it around. So you go, Travis back to Dev over to the right side, or you just skip over Devin and go to the other side. And it's just a way to keep possession and switch the point of attack, and then find those gaps forward.
Well, they'll bring up Kalen Wright on the left end. Cortez still in some offensive opportunities here. 16 minutes in, trying to get the first goal of the game. Cortez working it, can't get a foot on it, and it's stolen away. Jorge Contreras with it here. Leads it over to Jackson. Jackson trying to put on the moves on the left side, get in the middle of the field, loses the ball, gets it back, and gets a shot off, and it goes out of bounds.
It actually looked pretty nice. He flicked the ball up and had a decent whack at it and just went over the top post. Joe Jackson bent left out there. I didn't like that. I think he's a good forward. I think he should stay up and through the middle. That's where you get goals, is in the box. And so kind of doing an overlap probably wasn't the best thing. But, decent shot from Houston. And, they're a good squad. I mean, they beat Laredo. They can get opportunities. They can.
And that game won 1-0 on May 24th. And a 45th minute from Javier Vasquez, and who's not in the lineup today. Might be substituted later on, and Adam Black with it on the other side.
Oh, what a gorgeous touch from Adam Black.
Cito with it now. Tries to get into the middle of the field. Tries to get a shot up, but it's blocked away. A second try, a third. Gets it over to Adam Black. Left foot blocked away again. Comes after it again, still on it. Tripping and falling, and they can't get to it. As Schober comes after it, almost like an ice rink, a circus spectacular. They can't get after it as Schober pulls this one up. Out of danger. That's one. We'll probably opt to the weather, and Verhaar with it now. In the middle of the field, trying to tap it over in the left corner to Jackson. He can't get to it.
Decently cute ball there from Verhaar. You'd like to see him actually on that left foot have a shot. He cuts in, but decent thought. And Adam Black and Cito were just so aggressive on the other side, and they ended up nearly getting the penalty actually from it. But the ref wasn't having any of that.
All right. And Perales playing sweeper again on this end.
Yep. And it's just a way to, you always want to go forward as a defender, but if you can't, Justin will go back, and look here, we'll switch it back to Alessi. The defensive central mid drops in because he's got good feet and good technique. And you'll switch it back to Kalen. He can't go up. He's probably going to go back, and it's just, you just kind of keep moving the ball. And what you want to do is switch it quickly to not let Houston get in place.
Cito in the middle, tries to get a nice pass up the middle. Is headed back right to him from Kelvin Ibarra. Right back into the foot of Cito. Right shot blocked away again, out of bounds. And it'll be Dutch Lions ball.
Gotta love Cito's just energy. That guy's just an energizer bunny. I mean, he's running up and down the flanks and just running and running and running. And so he doesn't stop, does he? We've seen him game in, game out. He's just relentless, which is fantastic. That's what you want to see.
Including the 3-shot attempt almost a minute ago. He's got about 6 already in this game. He's really getting after it today, trying to get back in. And
shot it, block, shot it, block, shot it,
Try again. There's Golden with it, can't get after it. And here's Joe Jackson right in the middle. Trying to get after it and can't hold on to it. And lucky, it feels, from Pineda. He just couldn't get a hold on that.
Poor from Joe Jackson there. I thought he was completely in. He could have had a better run at it. The ball got a little bit tangled in between his feet, and he tried to, make a pass, and no one was there. But like I said, you can't be too cocky. The formation we play, the center backs split, and they get wide on offense. Mm-hmm. The problem is you have to be very careful with your passes, and if you make a poor pass down the middle, you can get countered. The center backs stay very wide on offense, which is a great thing. It gives us space. But the minute you lose it, you have to come tight, and against maybe stronger teams, you get punished right there. I mean, that was a free run at goal, right?
All right, he was one-on-one with Perales.
Oh, here you go.
And with Black, chip shot over and in.
Yep.
A goal for the Aztecs, and Adam Black sets the Aztecs up 1-0 in the 21st minute.
Great goal. What a cheeky little goal. We're sitting here talking, and all of a sudden, a pretty just direct ball from our outside back goes right over the top, and Adam Black, chips him from well over outside the 18, and just with these conditions and the keeper coming out and the slick ground, it's able to just completely go in and bounce into to the roof of the net.
A redeemer for him in the first 5 minutes. Had a pretty similar shot on the left end. Gets his foot on the right end, bounces right in for the first goal of the game. And the Lions trying to even it up on the right end, chasing after Mitchell Ostrowski. Leads over. Pass to Jorge Contreras. In the right corner, back to Ostrowski. Taps it back in to David Perez. Perez in the middle of the field. Crosses to Joe Jackson, but it's stolen away by Aronos. Back to Cito. Cito flips it to Black. Black with the goal of the game. Loses it to Kevin Ilbala. And it goes back to the Aztecs. The Lions steal it away again. Spending time in the Aztecs' end. Had a chance. Joe Jackson, one-on-one against Perales, led to an Adam Black goal. And this one's out of bounds, stays with the Lions. They'll get a throw in.
And you're seeing with this weather, big touches, slips, bodies banging into each other. The team that has the composure to put the ball down and spray a couple passes, it's going to be quick out there.
Chipper, Cameron Free, Jackson, and a shot over, out of bounds.
And that's Verhaar again. Jackson, Verhaar, that's a good combination for them. Those are both two technical players. They're actually both pretty big boys. And, Verhaar should have done better there. He gets the ball pretty much right at the outside of the 18 on the half volley off his chest. And, again, that could have tied it right there at 1-1. You'd want to think in a wet condition, the big thing is, Brooks, you want to get the ball on target. Because even though Dev's a fantastic keeper, Verhaar gets that on target, it's always a tougher save, just being wet. It's always tougher. You never know what's going to happen. You don't know how your gloves are going to take that ball.
And chasing after Aceto. He really wants to get after that, and Schober comes and boots it out of the way. Are there any precautions you take as a goalkeeper in these conditions? A trade of gloves, different material, little stickum?
Yeah. You see both keepers have towels in the net. I know that's just a pretty basic old school thing, but you want to keep the gloves dry as possible. So pretty much every time they go back to their net, they probably just dry it off again and keep it dry. Maybe when the ball goes off for a goal kick, dry off the ball again, just so it doesn't stay greasy. Because if the ball's wet and your gloves are wet, then that's the problem. If the ball's wet and your gloves are very, very dry, then it's an okay save.
Well, the Aztecs trying to get to one back in the net for the second time. A shot from Cortez, high and over. 24th minute, Aztecs lead it 1-0.
I think that was actually Alessi Asaro that came up, had a decent little combination play. And, you know, we've been a little bit too quick to shoot some of these shots. It's obviously, I know Adams got a goal and it's fantastic, but Alessi right there, you know, shoots when it goes a little bit wide and high. Again, like I said, I know it's easier said than done, but you want to get these balls on target, or these shots on target.
A quarter from Cito. Header, and it's blocked away. Nice opportunity for Kalen Ryden. Back post almost got through there. It was blocked away from Gustavo Alvarado.
Yeah, and Kalen's been an absolute beast from goals. Even one last game with a great header. I mean, he is someone that, you know, not the tallest of defenders, but God, he can attack. He can attack the ball in the air, which is what you want to see.
Cortez will take the left corner. Over in the middle and punched away from Schober. Not out of trouble yet. Osorio after. Kicks it back in. Taken by Verhaar. See them try and counter here. David Perez gets it over the middle, sliding over Zoronos. Leads it right over, and it's blocked away from Sebastian Pineda.
Pineda, great block there. I mean, that was pretty much, he misses that. You know, Houston's kind of got a counter down the right flank.
Franz, long bomb to Cortez. Can't hold on to it. Sliding after as Mitch Ostrowski gets on it. Tries to turn it into a fast break for the Dutch Lions to Verhaar. They'll slow it down. And their own end. Into the midfield. Sliding is Osorio again. And it's picked up by Perales on his end. Looses it back into the middle. Cortez trying to head it, get a hold of it, can't, and it goes out of bounds. It'll be Dutch Lion ball on their end. Jorge Contreras will take this one. Jackson into the chest. A little bit of a struggle getting after that one. Hector Gomez gets it over to Cortez, and he plows it over to Adam Black. A little too far, picked up by the Dutch Lions. France heads it over. Cito takes it in the chest. Fast break on. Adam Black back to Cito, and it's a little behind, and he can't get after it, and he's going to be tackled down by Schober. And Schober and Cito have become the matchup of the night tonight. Picks up this one. Still drizzling here in Austin. First time in franchise history that it's rained on game day.
Shows you the type of weather we have in Texas.
Can either be a sign of luck or of bad luck for the city and the drought that it's been in. Booted out to midfield, taken by the Aztecs. Black tries to head over to Cortez, picked up by the Dutch Lions. Jorge Contreras with it now. Back over to Verhaar on the right end.
Yeah, Verhaar's got a great technique and good kind of frame to hold that ball up.
Tall for a forward.
Yeah, but you see that a lot. You know, you see your tall players a lot of time will play up the middle, right? They're center backs. Sometimes they're center mids, kind of long, lanky. You know, Patrick Vieira and Zidane was a tall player. And then, of course, you know, you have big boys up top. You know, Ibrahimovic is a very tall forward. You know, even Cristiano Ronaldo is about 6'3"-ish, so.
Well, Verhaar standing in at 6'3". The defenders they saw last week against Midland, the Hume twins, both 6'5" apiece, and this one goes out of bounds. Will be the Lions throw-in.
Yeah, they're your prime example. One Hume brothers center back, and the other one's center forward.
Kicked up. Taken by Osorio. Turnover, Verhar with it. And it's booted out of bounds. Remains touchline ball. And the sideline known as the 12th man for football. Is it the 12th man for football on both ends?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of that, just like they even talk about in A&M or Seattle, that kind of additional. You know, I always thought 12th man in soccer was being louder than the other team. If you're able to just be aggressive and loud and communicate, that in and of itself kind of scares a team, and you feel like you've got 12 players playing instead of 11. Here we go with Adam.
Black with a beautiful tap back to Cito, and he can't get a foot on it, and it's taken away by Schober. A beautiful pass from Black to get it to Cito in the first place.
You see a little bit of Cito's, I love the little temper he plays with. You know, he wants to score all the time, and you see he kind of missed that shot, runs over and hits the post. So,
seventh opportunity. He hopes to make the eighth a charm.
I don't know how his foot's feeling after that one, but he did move it a little bit, so that's interesting to see.
Schober playing well against Cito. The only goal scored against him, chipper from Adam Black on the right end in the 24th minute. The Aztecs lead it here 30 minutes, 15 minutes to halftime.
And even though Adam Black, even though it was a goal that came out of nowhere and it looks so easy, that is so much tougher than you think to read a keeper coming out and being able to lift it over him and not bounce it over the goal, not have it where it doesn't roll into the net, not have it where it rolls wide. It's amazing skill. I mean, you see Messi for Barcelona doing it pretty much every goal he scores. He puts the keeper on the ground and chips it up. And even though it looks so easy, it's a lot tougher than you think, believe me.
Well, I imagine it to be a much different kick, just kicking on the top end just to get it to bounce over.
Yeah. We call it cheeky. It's
cheeky.
It's a bold play, It's like when you lie to your mother, It's
okay.
Cheeky.
All right. Well, the mothers appreciate that goal more than they would the lie.
Absolutely.
And here on the Lions' end, Joe Jackson going after a slide from Cito, putting his body at risk, gets the ball back for the Aztecs.
Refs letting some of those go. We got an absolute munch in the middle of the field. Again, you're talking about tackles. When it's wet, look, the captain's coming up here and just saying, I'm not having that. Cameron Free, and saying those tackles were huge. And, that's what happens when it gets wet. The ball's popping around, and tackles just look so much more ferocious because you can slip with the ball.
Well, they're getting a check on David Perez in the middle of the field. That gives the players an opportunity to go and get some water, take a little break. They'll have to come back on the field now here. Reset play. Although it is dark out here, still hitting 90 degrees, so it's really like a big oven.
Oh, it's a bath out there. We were out there before the game and so forth, doing a little bit of the pregame and so forth. I mean, it is an absolute sauna. It's not cold rain, and it's 90 degrees. You're sweating at the same time it's raining on you. It's an interesting thing. I'm telling you, the people who have it the best, believe it or not, are the players down there, because it all just turns into one, sweat and water, and it actually cools you off quite a bit.
Well, those of you that were looking for their summer tropic vacation to Costa Rica or Cancun, kind of feels like that here.
Yeah.
Here in Austin, Texas. And back end, Travis Golden, play resumes. 33rd minute, Aztecs lead at 1-0.
Kind of has that jungle or tropical rainforest feel here.
It might fit in with the nature of the sport here. Must have felt like that a lot in many of the cities in Brazil that hosted for the World Cup.
I think this is what it felt like, absolutely, where humidity's probably 90% or something out there, or 85, and a little bit of drizzle. Not insanely hot, but I mean, still 90 degrees is warm.
Hey, and both of us getting our picks in for Germany as the champion.
Yep.
So I can boast about that to my friends.
Absolutely.
Nice. And pass over to right and goes wide, and the Dutch Lions will get a chance here to throw in. Ostrowski gives it to Perez. Trying to tie things up here. Finding it with it is Jackson.
You see Jackson's just strength there. Yeah. Alessi tries to come up and take that ball, and, you know, soccer's a lot more contact than people think, and using your body is huge if you can use it well.
And Verhaar with it. Chips it over. Eraser to Contreras, and Perales gets to it. Oh, knocked out of his hands, and he wants some interference here. Maybe a foul? Golden down. Oh, pardon me.
Oh, you don't want to see that. It's Pineda, I believe.
Pineda in his first appearance in pain, helped up by the official.
Yeah, the ref's letting things go here. He's letting things kind of, you know, let slide, which is good to see if you're a physical team. But, you know, a little bit of a late challenge on Dev there, and it's always about protecting the keeper. That's the first and foremost thing.
Perales putting his body into it, going after the ball, trying to keep the equalizer from happening.
What's also good about Devin is if Devin and another player run into each other, I promise you Devin's the one that'll be okay.
Well, Travis Golden with it now. Into the middle. Gomez.
And see the balls. It's gotten a bit lazy, hasn't it, from Austin? It's just been a bit, you know, it's all the way up to 35 minutes now. There's only about 10 minutes left in the half, and it's just gotten a bit, you know, a little bit slow, a little bit greasy with the weather. If you don't play a ball to someone's feet, it will slip away. It'll bounce off. It kind of reminds me of, you know, watching the English Premier League where the grass and the pitch is so wet that you know, it calls for an exciting, quick game, but it also calls for balls flying all over the field unless you have that. You know, and look right there, the ref lets it go again. You know, Jackson bodies him, and Pineda goes in the ground. And
I'm sure some of these are hard to distinguish whether someone's being knocked down or being slipped.
Slipped, knocked down, or they say, whose fault was that? You bumped into him, he bumped into you. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the Lions get a throw in 90 feet away. Pardon me, a free kick. This one will be taken by Cordier. Into the middle. Jumping forward is Ostrowski. Headed over and booted away. Well defended by the Aztecs. Lions still with it. Perez, looper, header, out of bounds.
So you'd like to see Austin relax again, you know, get the ball back on the ground, step up, spread out. We really haven't seen it controlled in the Houston's half this entire kind of past 10 to 15 minutes, ever kind of since that goal happened. So.
And the Aztecs, this is the first time in a few weeks that they've been ahead first.
Yeah.
And down against Laredo first, down against Midland first. And here the intensity of the game changes. Adam Black with it, trying to scoot it over to Cortez, makes contact. Tap back to Black.
You know, and you make a fantastic point. It's all about being a professional. You got to know how to win up. You got to know how to win being down.
Oh, and a big kick over and wide. Off the foot of Aronos.
But still, I like that. I like that shot actually from Cruz Aronos. You know, a couple passes there. He gets in an open position again. He doesn't lean over the ball and get it on target. What I've been preaching, but yeah, decent attempt. I mean, why not? You know, we haven't really been in that half, and you get an opportunity like that, go at it.
Oh, Ross, you know, as a defender, you know, Aronos without a goal,
that goal, and you're just absolutely no. That's actually a very good point. When a defender sees the goal, you better believe he's not passing it or crossing it or
going after it, especially with a 1-goal lead, I bet.
Yeah, you almost feel a bit more free.
Oh, and Perales tackling after the ball, slips up free.
Yeah.
And he clapping his hands after he gets up. Feels like he should have had an option there. But they'll get a throw in here. See if they can get an opportunity. This might be close enough to try and throw near the goal, and he does. Over to Verhaar, can't hold on to it. Picked up by Gomez. Big header from Ostrowski. Back in the middle. Free waiting on it. Charging is Black. And a nice header from Free to evade the charge from Black.
And Adam looks back and says, guys, where's everyone at? You know.
Equal my intensity, and we'll get there. Verhaar to Jackson, scooted away. Cito with it now. Taps it up to Black. Charging is Cito now. See if he can get a nice tap up
ball
there. Up on the right end. Another shot and a goal! Second one for Adam Black.
Fantastic. And that's actually Cito who scores.
Oh, Cito.
Adam Black with a fantastic assist, though.
Well, battle of the green shoes. He got it in there. And Cito on the 8th one. 8th one's a charm.
Yep.
And he puts that one in for the second goal of the game.
Yep.
And the Houston fans kind of pulling up their umbrellas.
And might I say, from where I'm watching, that was absolutely a gorgeous goal for two reasons. First off, Adam Black and Cito, I think, have ran the most today. They've just been, you and I have seen it, hitting shots, getting their own rebounds, just aggression and energy. And also, what was gorgeous there, Adam Black holds the ball up, and Cito makes a run from pretty much the half-field line. And Adam waits for him and waits for him and waits for him, and Cito's just bombing on and slips a great ball through, and he's able to slot in the net.
And another charge over from Adam Black on the left end. Holding up. See if he'll cross it. Waits on it. There it goes. Over to Gomez, and he can't get on it. Right into the hands of Schober, and Adam Black on that left side, charging that first time. You said, where is everybody? Cito Sion responds, chasing after, and they get a nice touch over to get a wide open goal. That's communication and coming at the intensity level of Adam Black. Do you feel like that continues with 2 goals up with 5 minutes remaining?
And this is kind of how I thought the game was going to be. I mean, this is a game where Austin is better technically. It's a better team. It makes sense that we're the top in the league, and obviously Houston has found themselves in the bottom. So you would think that, with all due respect, but Coach Manny is saying before the game, hey guys, let's control this game from the first whistle. Let's get out there and let's systematically have a shutout on the defensive end and put some balls in the back of the net. And so you see Adam get one, you see Cito get one, and once you get a goal as a forward and striker, you want him more. I mean, look at Cito checking back for the ball now. He wants another one, you can tell. Adam wants one, and Chewy wants to get on the score sheet and all that stuff, and Cruz is pushing up. So
Cruz looking for a foul there, doesn't get it, comes back after the ball, slides it to another Dutch Lion. Perez chips it over, headed back from Pineda. Aronos was charging after that one, trying to get his third shot on goal with 4 minutes remaining.
And Cruz got into a little bit of a battle with their outside left back, and Cruz is a technically very sound player, and he's also an incredibly stocky and just muscular. Probably one of the strongest, I'd say maybe the strongest player on our entire team. And you can't, like Devin, you can't move Cruz. He's a very, very fit guy.
And Adam Black pass over to Kalen Wright on left end. Chips up into the middle. Played upon. Charging as France gets it to Black. On the right corner. Back to France. Taps back to Black. Aronos with it. Shot number 3, no. Headed back in. And I believe he'll let this one roll out.
And Brooks, you see, that's why you play those long diagonal balls, because what happens is they got a free header, but they're on their back foot getting that header. So what happens is you get a second ball is what it's called. It's all about getting the second ball. It's not the first one, but the second ball. So if Austin's able to jump on that, they've got the ball already advanced all the way to Houston's 18-yard box. And so you saw Adam was able to get on that defensive clearance.
Chipper into the middle. Lions trying to get back into this game, down 2-0. The Aztecs still picking up their intensity. Gomez over to Sion on the right end. Hangs on to it. Back into France. Osorio in the middle. Ryden. 2 minutes to go before the 45th minute. I don't believe we'll get much extra time. But with this intensity in the first half against the last place team, I'm sure Coach Manuel Buentello is very satisfied with his team closing out the season like this so far.
Absolutely. He'll probably ask to get one more, you know, and he'd love to go into half 3-0 because then maybe he makes some subs and gives some of these guys a rest, because it's all about staying quick and sharp and fresh, but you don't want to overwork someone, if that makes sense.
No substitutions for the Aztecs so far. Bubba Job, Marshall Tucker, Danny Freed hasn't played in a long time. You'd like to see him probably come in. Jeff Harwell and Andy Fox on the bench as well.
You know, and the PDL doesn't follow the exact kind of FIFA rules with only 3 subs, but, you know, you're allowed to sub, you know, as many times, but even with that, you never really hardly sub in the first half of a soccer game unless you're unless someone's hurt. Purely for the fact that you know, soccer players are conditioned to go 90 minutes, and so subs normally happen at minimum. The earliest would be at half. If you get pulled before the halftime whistle, you know you're having a bad game. Let's just say that.
Well, no player here has had a bad game on the Aztecs end so far. And 30 minutes in, do you think if they don't score another goal before the half that there are those halftime substitutions regardless?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, again, Coach Manny wants to have that perfect combination of, you know, I remember, as a matter of fact, when I was in Finland before games, some of our pre-game...
stolen away from Wessel Verhaar, trying to get after it.
Tackle by Travis. But some of our pre-game warm-ups were short, fresh, and sharp, and so... That's what Coach Manny wants to see. If Cito maybe has been working too hard and working very, very well, and he's put in good work, maybe he comes off and says, "Hey, Cito, well done. You got your goal. Let's not overwork you and exhaust you, or maybe pick up an injury because we need you next week." So you'd like to see how that's played. It's kind of, you know, kind of like an NFL quote, the preseason. You want to give those guys a little bit of juice, but how embarrassing would a coach be if he hurts his players, right?
Right.
You know, so that's kind of like where we're at here. This isn't preseason, but technically the second season starts next week.
That's right.
You know?
And, I mean, at first place in a game that doesn't mean much, you definitely don't want to be the one responsible for a pulled hamstring or someone being out for the entire season.
Yeah. There's no point winning first and just getting out the first game, right? You know, that actually might be, you know, one of the worst things out there to do, you know. So you almost have to shake off what you've done in the regular season, be proud of it, learn from it, but then it's a whole new slate.
I'm sure there's a lot of other teams, and that's the whistle for the halftime. Aztecs lead it 2-0 on a goal from Adam Black and Cito Sion. They picked up the intensity in the first half and lead the Houston Dutch Lions 2-0. Starting to look like the Dutch Lions will not get their first win against the Aztecs over their franchise, but they'll try and come back in the second half. We've got our halftime interview with Shelby Hodges.
You just have to give me the heads up, sorry.
We'll receive 2 free round-trip tickets, courtesy of Airmar and the Aztecs, to Mexico City.
Hey, Brooks, here with Adam Black. Just off that great score, how did that feel making that goal today?
Felt good. It's always nice to get the opening goal because it takes a lot of pressure off the team. So it's nice to get the early goal and keep the pressure on with the second one before half-time.
What do you think you guys are going to do in the second half to keep this momentum?
Just keep doing what we're doing, keep the high press going, and just take hard chances like we have been.
All right, great. Well, have a good rest of your half.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Paper airplane to the center of the field. We'll receive 2 free tickets to Mexico City, round trip, courtesy of the Austin Aztecs and Aeromar. Are you ready, fans? 3, 2, 1, throw!
Hi.
Hello.
Sorry. Let me just wait one quick second.
Mistakes, and surface is very quick and kind of slippery, so yeah, that's very interesting.
Hey, Brooks, here with Coach Manuel Buentella again at halftime. Coach, this game so far, this is the first time, or the first game in 5 home games that you guys have scored first. What do you guys think you did today to make that happen?
Like I told you, I think we are the type of team that sometimes come out and don't have our shoes right, and sometimes we do. But for the most part, you know, we've not done anything different. I think also the conditions of the game, which is really fast because of the rain, makes everything very, very quick.
Thank you for your participation.
is allow us to play a faster game, which the Dutch Lions have not been able to match. But also it makes it a little bit unpredictable. So it's an exciting game.
Nice. Well, any changes during halftime or pretty much the same?
No, we'll keep with the same plan, trying to get as many goals as we can, make a statement going into the playoffs.
Great. All right. Okay. Well, good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
All right, Brooks, and back to you guys for the rest of halftime. Zach's just like, oh, I have another interview?
Head into the locker room, leading this one 2-0. Still raining a little bit here in Austin, starting to clear up just a bit. First time in Austin Aztex history that they played in rainy weather. They're taking it pretty well.
No, they're taking it great. Yeah, 2 interviews is better than 1, right? Absolutely. But no, they're taking it well. Obviously, what's great about the field we play on, and whether you like AstroTurf or not, is that you don't get the soppy, completely wet, grass feel that you get. So, believe it or not, it's not too wet probably for them down there, but it does end up making the ball a little bit greasy and a little bit slippy out there. So it's probably not, incredibly wet, but yes, it is going to change the dynamics of the game, absolutely.
And Coach Manny Bontello, he's pretty happy about this game so far with 2-0 lead going into the halftime. But you can imagine that he wouldn't be as satisfied with that so far because there's 45 more minutes in this one.
Yeah, well, they say 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in soccer, either way. 2-0 winning, because what happens is it's comfortable, but at the same point, if Houston scores 1, they're back in the mix. I don't think that's going to happen personally. 2-0 is a dangerous lead, so I don't think Coach Manny is the happiest about it. But I think we're going to see a couple more goals.
Still a bit rainy here in Austin, Texas, as the Austin Aztecs lead this one 2-0 in the first rainy game in franchise history. So, leading into that one, we get 2 sideline interviews today. 2 is better than 1, and
absolutely.
I feel like we're doing this again, but we get to talk about it again.
Yeah, of course, and yeah, like you said, I mean, it's a bit greasy, it's a bit wet out there, but I always thought as a kid that was the funnest time to play. It was when it's wet. You've already got all your gear on. You're gonna have to shower and take all, throw those jerseys in the dirty bin anyway. So, yeah, absolutely, it's fun out there. Is it a little bit wet? Can you get injured? Yeah, you have to be a little bit careful. But it's not as bad as playing on a grass surface, like I was saying, because that's when the water really seeps in. This AstroTurf is nice, and the water kind of bounces off. But for the fans and for the atmosphere, yeah, it's a little bit of a warm sauna feel.
Right, and still a lot of people showing up on a Thursday night and a rainy Thursday night.
Yep.
That, and, it's always satisfying. You mentioned playing as a kid in this kind of weather to come back after the game and take off all the clothes and get the shower in, knowing that you've won the game. And the Aztecs have a chance to do that. Do you feel like coming into this one, the second half? I mean, obviously, Coach Manny happy with the first half, but possibly not satisfied with the game as a whole.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. You see it in every different league. You see it even in the top leagues when the Manchester Uniteds of the world have to play lower league soccer teams. It's all about getting up for games is what you call it. Is this a game that Austin could have just came out there and done nothing, and we still would have been first, and Houston still would have been last. So it's called getting up for it. You got to get jazzed up. You got to be professional. You got to treat every team with respect, and by treating a team with respect, it's by showing up and working hard, believe it or not. That's what the Germans did to the Brazilians. Even though they won 7-1, it was respect because they were tracking back, they were marking, they were doing give and goes, they were working hard. So even though Austin's winning 2-0 and it looks like it'll be a comfortable win, you better believe Coach Manny's saying, hey, we're not putting our foot off the gas, guys. We have a whole new playoffs next week, and it starts now. You want to go in there with good momentum. You want to go in there with good camaraderie. And also as a striker, you want to go in there with some goals. Adam Black and Cito feel it now. I can almost bet that they'll be getting goals next week.
And going into that one, I feel like Julie Cortez could come out and match that kind of intensity going into that second half. But, getting up for it, Houston doesn't have much to play for with this the rest of the season. Their season could be over 3 days from now on Saturday against the Laredo Heat. But they've got a chance to be spoilers for them as well. Laredo, 3 points behind Midland Odessa. They're going to come back out of here and try and get a chance to at least warm up for that game.
Yeah.
I mean, with what they're doing in this game, down 2-0, it doesn't really matter if they lose this one. But how do you feel like in their situation they're going to come back out and try and play in this one?
Well, here's the thing. What's cool about, not saying cool, but what's just interesting about being their point, again, they've got nothing to lose. So they can bomb forward. They can have fun with it. They can be aggressive. They can be attacking. So I don't see them being like other teams we've played against where it's packing it in, panic soccer, whopping it long. Houston's a team where, hey, we've already, the season's quote-unquote already done. We're prepping for next year. We're trying to build on something. We're just trying to play good soccer, play a good game, and just get that one goal. They're probably just focusing on, hey, let's get the next goal. Let's get the next one.
All right, and they're hoping to get at least one goal here tonight, matching their one goal a couple of weeks ago where they lost 5-1, and then in the very first game of the season, losing 5-0. So trying to come back and get a little bit of pride into this one. But, with the Aztecs, this is the last game of the season, the last chance they have before it completely counts all the time. And, whether they play Laredo or Ocala in the Southern Conference Championship, this is the last chance they get at putting things together. And it looks pretty well. With 2 goals, you've got 2 forwards at the top of their game. But is there anything you feel like at the end of the second half that they need to kind of find closure with?
Have you ever run it?
Just all around better soccer. I remember in college, my assistant coach was saying, hey, Ross, you did that in 2 touches. Can you do it in 1? So that's what it's like. Like I said, even that Paul Dalglish instilled in Austin Aztex is it doesn't matter who you're playing or what the score is. You're not playing against the other team. You're playing for a starting spot, and you're playing to better yourself because you can win and not make the starting squad next year just from your play, and your team can still win. So it's about doing every little thing better, and it's the same in corporate America. It's the same in sports. It's the little things, right? If that touch pops off your right foot, the next time to have a better touch. If you're a keeper and that ball slipped through your hands, you better make sure next time. If it's been a little bit slow to get out and play the ball as it's in mid, hey, let me speed it up. Let me do 1 touch. Let me play quicker. Let me track back. So it's all the small things. Are we probably going to win this game? Yes, but can we learn a lot of things, and can we get match fitness, and can we get camaraderie and training with this? Yeah, for sure. So I think Coach Manny's saying, hey, let's keep the small things going. Let's keep possession. Let's keep playing. So to make it an enjoyable 45 minutes.
All right, and the next 45 minutes coming soon. About 8 minutes before the next half, but you mentioned all these things to work on. And going into the playoffs, they will be the defending champion, so there will be pressure on that. But there's a little, do you believe that there's a little bit of more added pressure from the fact that they're going to USL Pro next season? Because this is the last time they have a chance to show the rest of the teams what they've got here. They want a good goodbye, don't they?
Yeah, and I heard a quote, you're always trying out, you're always interviewing. Whether it's your work or soccer and all that, you're always trying to impress. So, of course, listen, the soccer players, of course, are trying out. A lot of these people, like Cito, who's not in college anymore, who got for the Dynamo, he could be a player we pick up already next year. At the end of this season, we could have a contract. So, of course, there's players playing for that. Hey, we're a professional club. I mean, Jeff Hartwell as well, Andres Cuero, Josh Alcala. These are all players that aren't going back to school. So either they stay here professionally with us or they move on to something else. So, yeah, there's added pressure, but I don't think it's a negative added pressure, honestly. I really don't. I think it's more of a positive thing. It's an exciting thing. Hey, this club is going professional. I want to be in on this. We're going to the playoffs as a first seed, hosting again the regionals. That's huge. That the hosting is again huge, and we won the national championship on our home soil last year. So it's definitely not getting a negative buzz. It's a positive, energetic kind of nervousness, if you will.
All right, and the Austin Aztecs clinching the X, Y, and Z clinches for the entire playoffs, getting home field advantage. So that will be a nice addition to the playoffs. And it may not be like this all the time with this weather, but with those other teams,
right?
Right. You have no idea what it's going to be like later on. And I mean, with the remainder of the teams, it's nice to have the other conferences that you have not seen this entire season to come back in this city to where the climate might be a little bit different. Is that the only kind of addition that they have, a little bit of a heads up on that?
I don't think it's the only thing. No, not at all. I think there's a lot of small little things, not to keep harping on that, but weather's obviously huge. Everyone's kind of somewhat used to the same weather in the southeast. It's different. Austin gets these rain showers, we get this humidity, but also, field and pitch. We have a very narrow field. We also have a very bouncy artificial field. So what it calls for is goals can come very quick, and goals can be scored against you very quick, and very quick play. When that ball is bouncing the AstroTurf, it can be very, very bouncy. And then also, so you've got field conditions, you've got kind of environment and weather, and then you've just got natural knowing your kind of comfort, your comfort of your location, your pregame, knowing what you're going to do. So we already have that kind of exact timing, while another team maybe tires themselves out, travel, this and that. So it's a lot of little things. Obviously, saying them out loud, it sounds silly, but believe it or not, they kind of add up. And just being able to also just play in front of your home fans. We had 2,800 people last week screaming at the top of their lungs. You would have to think when playoff comes around, we'll get up into the 4,000 or 5,000 range, and that can be daunting for an opponent coming here and seeing a packed house.
Absolutely, and going into this, they're trying to go through the last couple of weeks and going before USL Pro, and then trying to make the push to the playoffs, and also, eventually the goal is to try and get into the Major League Soccer. So, you want to be able to bring in the excitement here, build that rapport with the city, and try and get through and offer those things. And you want to be able to show other leagues. You mentioned you're always interviewing, trying to show that you have this kind of environment in Austin where you'd be able to sustain that kind of culture. Do you feel like that will be something that is looked upon and throughout the season as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And think about this, when we're in the U.S. Open Cup as well. Bench, so it's not a very, very deep bench, but at the same point, I think you have maybe one sub-ish at half, but then I think, you'll see players come in. I think you'll see Danny Freed come in and have a run out. You'll see Jeff Harwell have a quick run out and keep himself fresh. I think Cito I think Cito might sit in a little bit, maybe give Foxy a run out. He's been good and he's a good player, because what Coach Manny wants to see is he's saying, hey, I want to see who's strong enough to when, if we need you, it's your time. Justin Francis had a good game. Let's see if he's done enough to earn a starting spot next week. Or if not, Francis is obviously someone who come in as a fantastic substitution when you need it. Same thing with Alessio Soro. He started on the bench last game, and he's been fantastic in center mid this game. So it's all about options. It's all about options, and Coach Manny wants to make sure he has a full total squad. That's what it's all about. Right. You want to know where everyone's at in fitness, injuries, technique, how they're playing. I'd like to see Chewy actually get a goal tonight, just to get his mojo back and get him in the right kind of scoring. I know he's been fantastic, but it's all about mental, getting back mentally correct. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes the second half. I bet there's a couple subs for sure.
And it seems to be like a good problem for a coach to have.
Great problem.
Well, who gets to play that I want to get to play? And it's a hard decision to make at that point. And I would like to see Danny Freed get back out there, just because it's been a long time since he's seen the field.
That is the best problem to have, is having what you call a deep squad in any sport. The fact that you can pull somebody out and you've got fantastic players on the bench that does not drop the value. It might even raise it up. And as the rain comes down here hard, you see a lot of people running for the shelters here. But it looks like to be a good one in the second half.
Right, and seeking shelter amongst the camera crew and everyone else. It's a good thing we brought our preparations here. And do you feel like this will have any influence on the game later on? It's possibly a little bit of a delay or anything?
Well, that rain is pretty heavy if you look out there. That is coming down. So is that going to delay the game? Yeah, I know it's not thunder. It looks like a blast out there to be a player, but that does look heavy. I don't know if the ref calls that. I think the only rule is lightning or thunder, but that's some pretty heavy rain. So
all of a sudden we become weather reporters here.
Yeah, that's we're in the thick of this thing. This is it's amazing though how Austin, Texas weather is all of a sudden that thing can come quick, can it?
Right, and players still on the field warming up. They barely even notice. Unfazed are the players.
Here's the thing: when you're wet out there already, it's when you get soaked, it's like, okay, I'm already wet. Already in our athletic gear. Why not? Let's have a blast with it. There's actually some fans that are just staying true with umbrellas. Good for them.
There they go. Well, we're staying true here on Texas Student Television, also simulcasting on KVRX 91.7 FM. I'd like to remind you that our broadcast is powered by Verizon 4G LTE. And you know what? Through the storms, still get our signals. How's that?
Yeah.
And Dutch Lions down 0-2 in this game. And last week, it was a very different story for the Austin Aztecs. So they had to come back from 0-2. So from that perspective, just what do the Dutch Lions need to do in order to try and come back into this one, start slow, come back against a team that's already so hot on offense?
In my honest opinion, I don't think they can. I mean, I again, with all due respect, I just don't think the Houston Dutch Lions have the strength to come up against the top seed. And you don't want to be cocky in soccer, but you have to also you do have to be cocky. And so Austin isn't going to let them come back in. I don't see them doing that. But how Houston comes back in, I think, is obviously through Ferrara. I think he's got good technical ability. If you get him mixing around up with Johnson, they can absolutely put some balls in the back of net. You better believe it, especially with the way they work and the way they press up top. And with the chances they've been able to have, yeah, they can definitely get a goal tonight, for sure.
And going through this one, about 2 minutes away from halftime, things still look like the game will be continuing to go. I mean, the Aztecs coming out. As fun as it might be to play out this as a player, you still have to worry and have concerns about injuries. I mean, with this kind of increased climate, does that even tilt the hand of Manuel Botello more?
Yes, it does. I mean, Coach Manny is all about safety and players, and it's a family. It's you come in as a summer, and you can't believe how close you get in a short amount of period. So yes, Coach Manny is going to say, hey guys, let's relax. Don't go studs up with challenges. Take care of yourself. Don't overslip or slide. You can easily turn a knee or something like that with this heavy rain. So Coach Manny's going to definitely keep his eyes on that for sure. And a shout out to Everly's Army there, just screaming up there at the top of their lungs, getting absolutely soaked. So that's pretty cool to see.
Well, the Austin faithful coming through, and we're just about ready for kickoff here for the second half. We'll go ahead and take a quick break as we head back upstairs out of the weather. We'll start the second half here on Texas Student TV. Well, the weather reflects a lot how the Dutch Lions might feel at this current moment, pouring down just in a split second about 5 minutes ago. So the Dutch Lions get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah.
Players already wet from sweat early on in the first 45 minutes. They'll start it again here.
And it's amazing. You can't really see it when you look at the grass, but you look up at the lights, and this rain is coming down. I mean, it's heavy. It's but you never know. Let's see how long this lasts. And, that's kind of that Texas rain for you.
And Wessel Vazar tries to get a lead off going from right to left now. Gets it into the corner, and it'll be a throw-in for the Aztecs. Cito Sion still on the field. A substitution for the Aztecs coming in is Bubba Job. 8 games. This is his 9th. 1 goal on the season. And that was the game winner against Houston when they visited them 2 weeks ago. He's been an upstart player, one that they hope to continue into the playoffs and be a nice relief for some forwards in the front end.
Yeah. Kalen, great win there.
In the middle now, trying to find some room. Passes it off to Cito, and it's taken away by the Dutch Lions. Trying to get their first goal of the game. They've got a nice little forward going with them. Michael Stewart on the left end. Chasing after is Perales. He gets ahead on it. And it goes out of bounds. It'll be a Dutch Lion throw-in. 46 minutes in, Aztecs lead at 2-1. 2-0 here at House Park. And we'll see if they get an open shot from David Perez. Chipper over, and Perales holds on.
Actually not a bad little ball. And look at this counter. My goodness, Devin just kicks it the entire length of the field, and Bubba's onto it.
We'll see what Job can do. A nice little move over. Taps it over right foot.
Oh, where's he going?
Can't find it. Tries to get on the right end. Makes up for it. No, blocked away. Oh, Job with an excellent opportunity off the left side. Nice little fancy high step to try and get it in. Maybe a little bit too much.
I think Booba's got that technical skill, but I'd love to see him go more north and south. You know, it's all about being direct. Do your one move, beat the player, and have a shot. There's no point, doing the 6 step overs and cutting it right and just, he ended up going actually backwards there. So good defense from Houston, but you've got to be direct. That's every forward's dream, is to run at someone one-on-one with pace. All you have to do is just a bit of a shoulder shrug or a move and just a burst of speed. That's what you train as a kid. Do your move and a burst of speed. It's called a change of pace or change of direction and speed. And so a little bit poor from Booba there to go kind of backwards, actually, believe it or not. But, his hustle is what, got this ball as well here.
Well, his hustle gets a head over onto Franz on the right end, a crossover, and blocked away. Still not free from it, and clears it. Back into the Aztecs' way. Ryan trying to keep after it. Might turn into an opportunity for the Lions here. In the middle of the field is Jackson. Left corner for Mario Gordon. Fighting for it with Job. Into the middle.
Oh, great ball.
Nice lead up on the right, sliding over, and it's a nice tackle out of bounds.
And this rain is still coming down very hard here. And
we keep going back to it, but for the ability for Booba Job to get a nice high step crossover in this weather was pretty phenomenal. Even if he was going to pass it off or not.
Well, I told you last game, or 2 games ago, it's those shorts. That's how Ross Kelly used to wear them, incredibly high. Gets some more speed on you.
I need to get me some of those. I feel nice.
John Stockton, Utah Jazz shorts,
Go back with it. And in the middle of the field, everybody feels like Michael Jordan ruined it for everybody. Get a nice, got to bring the long shorts in on it. Cito Sion leads it down. Taken away by the Lions, picked up, booted away into the middle of the field. Oh, the rain just pelts it down. That ball might have cleared all the way to the other side if it hadn't been for that. Lead over, left end.
And great ball. That's what's going to work this afternoon, is those little kind of flicks over the top.
Job with it, trying to get free on it. It goes out of bounds. It'll remain Aztecs. They'll get a throw in.
And I love it. You've got some Aztecs fans running around here, kicking the puddles in the stadium, and starting to collect a lot of water.
And blocked away. Almost looked like he was still in trouble there, and Aztecs still are on offense. Cito with it in the middle.
Oh, great
Trying
run.
to get through, and it's kicked away. Gets through about 4 defenders on that side. Pretty aggressive for Cito, looking for his 2nd goal on the day.
And you can tell that some of those parents are probably like, you know what, you're soaking. Go ahead and enjoy it.
The players are already soaked, and so are the kids. And you know what? You might as well enjoy it. It's funny thing about the rain. It gets annoying at first, but then after a while, you just start to bear it. The great flood of House Park commencing. Yep. First time in Aztecs history that they played on a rainy day. And no, did they get one.
This is one to remember. It is coming down. Great fans are staying. Quite a good amount of fans here. Still, not most of them with no umbrellas.
Oh, Fran's trying to get after it. Goes into the Dutch line's end. Gordon with it into the middle. Bizarre.
And you see how that ball slips away. Ferrari gets that ball and tries to play it. But like I kind of mentioned earlier, this is a game where you've got to keep possession and keep it at your feet. Mm-hmm. If you play it just a yard or two in front of you sometimes, it can get away. So it's that wet out there now. And those touches, just like that. I know Bubba did good there, but those touches.
Oh, and Cito chasing after it. Does he get it? No, slid away.
Fantastic. And that's how Cito just doesn't give up on balls.
Schober sliding for his life across his turf. It's almost like a slip and slide out there. Headed away from Golden. Still attacking Farrar. Franz gets it defended well. Still in trouble here. Gordon with on the left end. 1-on-1. Crossover. And he's flopped down. Holding his chest. Still playing here. And Ronos.
Oh, great technique from Cruz there. Sold everyone on the long ball and just kind of cut it back and kept possession.
Ronos has played aggressively throughout this entire game. First half, 2 shots on goal.
I like it.
Even those two, Atlanta is still on the defensive end. He's played quite aggressive. I feel like in this kind of weather, you get even more aggressive because
look at Cruz now. I love it. He's all the way on the touchline, and what it does, it's going to pull that left back out, and it's going to give space for Cito up in the middle. You want your outside backs, especially in the formation we play, is to get high and wide because our center backs are already pretty wide. So now Cruz can get the ball here if he wants, or even if not, he holds that position where your boots, if you will, are on the sideline.
And having those 2 shots on goal in the first half, I'm sure helps already.
Yeah.
And a foul called on Verhaar. It'll be a free kick taken by Golden.
And
there goes Cruz. Headed away from the Lions. Trying to get it over to Aronos, but he can't get it to him. He's going to go out of bounds, throwing for the Dutch lines. Jackson tries to get off the foot, boots it down. Golden chasing. Also is Gordon. Gordon gets to it. Open shot over and tipped out. An excellent save from Devin Perales.
And this ref missed 2 wide open handballs from Houston. Literally here on the sideline, he kicks it down the field, and then the forward pretty much traps it with his arm and then gets a shot on goal. Great job from Devin to keep his head. Everyone else is calling handball, rightly so, by the way, but you've got to keep playing. The ref, I don't know if he's allowing handballs now that it's wet, but that was ridiculous.
Corner kick, headed away from France. Chasing after Cortez. Stolen away. And a little trouble over in the corner. Cross. In the middle, header over.
And I don't care if it's wet or not. You've got to call the handball. I mean, that's.
And he might be wiping his eyes or something. I don't know what's up. Perales will get a kick here. 54th minute. Aztecs lead 2-0.
And, credit to Devin there. I see it time and time again. When you want a foul, you see a handball, there's 2 types of players. The one that whine and complain and the one that gets on with it. And then after, you can have your go at the ref and say, hey, ref, you've got to be kidding me. You could have gifted them a goal there by not, blowing the whistle. But you've got to take care of the actual business and the matter of fact, which is, the game is still going on and the ref's not calling it for whatever reason.
And the refs have played an interesting story. Verhaar on the left end in the corner. See if he can get a shot in. Tripped over, and Perales gets it here.
And the ref doesn't call that. I mean, that, from our angle, that could have been a penalty. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he was just sliding there, but that's a dangerous play. I don't know why you would do that, Pineda. I just do not understand why you would even go down.
Well, I'm sure that'll be a talking point for his first game.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't show refs that. The ref could have easily called that. I think he was right. I think it wasn't too much in it, but he slid, and from my angle at least, it could have definitely well been a penalty. So,
and they don't care if they don't have anything to play for. They still want the game to play on just as it should be.
Yeah.
And referees have been a pretty interesting story here in Austin, going even to last week and extra time when Midland Odessa felt like time was up right before the Adam Black free kick that was eventually led to the game-tying goal. Man, a lot of visiting opponents might have a lot to complain about here in House Park.
I always was taught in soccer there's no please or thank yous on the field. You just do your work. But you've seen it from the eagle-eye perspective that we saw it. Yes, that looked like it went well over the 4 minutes. And I definitely fell for Midland Odessa. I mean, that was, that was pretty rough. That was a good, 8 minutes or 7 minutes or so forth. So, but there's lessons. It's a cruel game. There's lessons to be learned. And if you're Midland Odessa, again, you've got to close that thing out.
Right, and good call or bad call, that's created a nice storyline for the end of the season. As a tackle from Golden, they'll call the foul there. Dutch Lions will get a free kick. But with Midland Odessa tying there, that leaves a 3-point lead for them over Laredo. And as we mentioned earlier on, Laredo playing Houston on Saturday. And if they win there, they go to the playoffs instead of the Sockers.
No, it's huge. It comes down to inches. It comes down to small plays. Do you know if the Midland or Odessa head coach said anything about that time?
No. Hey, no comment on that so far. Jorge Contreras will take the free kick.
Well, good for them. Good for them if they don't comment. Just pull your socks up and get on with it. And it looks like the destiny's still in their hands. And let's see if they can get in. That's a good team. Midland and Laredo would be great teams to see in the next round.
And what looks to be an open lane. Looks like he would try and get a shot on this. Slippy gloves perhaps on Perales. Here it goes. Up over. Headed. Over. Tipped off of Perales.
Yeah.
And it'll be booted out. Another great save.
And this crazy rain has almost helped Houston in this second half because, like I've been saying, they don't have anything to play for. Why not go out there and have fun, be aggressive, be forward-thinking, lump it into the box? Devin's a fantastic keeper, but he's on the ground now. I don't know what happened, but he's had to have some saves where some slips are going on. And Brooks, this is kind of an interesting point now. Now it's getting a little bit dangerous. Coach Manny's up. You got Devin on the ground after some plays. It's incredibly rainy. I think you kind of foresaw something where you do not want to see this.
No, but Perales is down.
Devin on the ground, you absolutely do not want to see this. He is our rock, and he is our pretty much our captain after Andres. And seeing him on the ground, especially with the conditions of this field, against a team that has nothing, it's tough to see. It's not their fault. It's not our fault. It's just it's tough, and he's still down there. So this is not a good sign at all for Austin.
Well, he's been the Gibraltar for the Aztecs all season, playing over 1,000 minutes, over 1,100 minutes this entire season.
He's the Iron Man.
And the only player, they have two other goalies, Neil O'Sullivan, but the only other player with experience, John Kashak.
Yeah.
1 game played, 4 goals allowed.
Yeah, John Kashak, great guy, fantastic guy, and he's been someone on the Austin Aztecs organization, and hasn't played as much just because Devin's obviously been fantastic in there, but give credit to Cash. He's been what a funny guy for the team, what a good camaraderie guy. If Devin ever were to get hurt, believe me, Cash would be ready to go. He's a fantastic player, so it's good to have a great backup, believe me. And I know to not to keep harping on it, but this weather, this is what you get sometimes in Austin as of late. It goes through a drought, and then all of a sudden we've had these episodes, if you will, where you get 5 inches in a night or 7 inches or something insane.
Right. Well, Perales is up, and the corner kick over, headed over and wide. Verhard trying to get after it, and his foot slips on the ball, and it goes back to the Aztecs. Buba with it, open field.
And that speed can be lethal if he...
and stolen away by Free. Good defensive effort, slows the Aztecs offense down.
I'd have loved for Eddie to have thrown that ball in quicker and gotten Boob on the counter, but...
And we were mentioning the Odessa Sockers earlier, throw in over here on the Aztecs way. They have not made the playoffs in their existence. Mm-hmm. And hiring a new coach, Matt Barnes from Lubbock Christian, wiping out the entire roster and starting anew. I mean, to get this close, that game last week hurt him, and wanting to get that chance for Midland Odessa to finally get in there. I mean, that's what he was brought in to do.
Yeah, I've been heartbroken as well in games. I remember in college we lost a couple games the last second, and it's again, I've been very impressed with Midland's professionalism, their style of play, their work ethic, the new coach, the new system. So I'd love to see him in the next round. But again, everything is learning, and this game is cruel, and it's not over until the final whistle. And you've got to keep on going. Was it over 4 minutes? Absolutely. We can both sit here, part of the Austin organization, and say, yeah, it was over, but the ref didn't call it. The ref's the one out there. You've got to keep playing, and credit to Austin. another learning point to just not giving up. There's always that belief. You see it in Barcelona time and time again. When they're down, they're losing, they stick to their game plan, they stick to their possession mentality, and you see goals in the last 30 seconds or minutes of games to save them.
Right, and even in that game, being able to tie that one, as good as it was to see that finish for them, as this one goes into the corner, Farhar with it, trying to find some space, goes out of bounds. They're going to call it for the Aztecs. But as good as that tie was for the Aztecs as a team, that allows Laredo a chance. And any Aztecs fan or player or any coach that's ever been a part of the organization, you don't want to see Laredo again.
No, you don't. But, I mean, I see this time and time again when there's that conundrum of, this team's not in, that's all baloney. All you do, if you're a professional in any level, is just you work hard and you try to get a win. That's all you do. You never play for, not letting this team in, not letting that team in. Let's play our weaker lineup. I mean, you saw how class the U.S. organization was, getting a win and letting Mexico in, and seeing how great that was for that country, and seeing Mexico do well and almost beat Holland.
Oh, and a crossover batted away.
So you never play for, it's a slippery road to go down, and it's a negative road to go down. All you want to do is just, oh my God,
and
that
nice
was a
kick on that side. Jorge Contreras, boot to the chin.
And look, you can see Coach Manny not liking it, and I agree with him because look, and this looks bad. I mean, they're signaling the medic on. The ref's got to get a better grip of this game. In all honesty, Brooks. I mean, he's letting things go. You've just got a kick to the face now. That could be a broken nose. Devin was on the ground a second ago, and this rain is a torrential downpour. I mean,
well, we'll try and get a number for you folks soon.
It's not what Houston's doing. They're definitely not playing, a certain way. They're just playing, but it's just a pity because it's the last game of the season, and you've got people dropping out there. So, and the way the team's looking at the bench, it's looking like that's a bad one. And so again, not Houston's fault, but
it's up to the officials to control the game, and that's the job to do.
The ref's letting it go. It's getting a bit greasy out there. It's an incredible amount of rain. I mean, you mentioned it at halftime. Yeah, there looks like there's going to be some injuries, and I wouldn't be too happy if, I was Coach Manny. I don't know if you want to, it's not like us or wanting to call a game just because of rain, because that's not what it is. But by no means, Coach Manny's saying, guys, let's get out of this game,
in one piece,
everyone healthy. The points don't matter. Of course, you want to win, and you want to win in a good spirit. But the last thing you want to do is have someone go down.
And up he comes. I believe that's Adam Black. Well, see, in all honesty, Ross, I'm surprised to see Devin Perales still out there right now.
Yeah, you actually make a fantastic point. I agree with you. Why not put John Kashek in the game and let him get some playing time just to be safe and make sure. I mean, Devin's given it a good listen. There's 65 minutes already gone. We've only got about 25 minutes or less than a half hour left in this game. You would have to be cautious, with how you're going to use this and kind of lineups and so forth, because it's all about staying safe. It's all about staying safe. And like I said, there's different types of leagues out there, in England and so forth, in Spain, and it's all about finishing the league, while the PDL has the same kind of similar league system as the MLS, where it's two different seasons. Season one is pretty much over. It's time for season two, which is the playoffs.
Well, that was Alessio Osorio, helped off the field, playing all the first half. He zapped onto the sideline.
And like you said, Danny Freed comes on, obviously, and you don't want to see someone having to leave against their own will to come on, for Danny to come on, but it's good to see him get some playing time as well.
And headed over, picked up by Schober on that end. I mean, and another point to bring in, I mean, I know how much it'll be for Danny Freed to get an opportunity in here, but coming off of a knee injury and slick situations on turf is another point to think about. Booba trying to get a lead in, blocked away by the Lions.
Well, what you have to do, and you're absolutely right, you just have to know what's enough. And that is tough, especially when it's wet. but you've got to know when's enough. Lateral moves as quick as you can is probably is scary, especially in the rain, or stopping on a dime is probably not what you don't want to do. But if Danny can stay calm and just move around, I think he'll be fine. But yes, knees are a very, very kind of dangerous thing to play on.
And they call it offsides. The Aztecs will get a throw in. 65 minutes gone here in House Park. Aztecs lead at 2-0. A couple of injuries. There will be extra time towards the end of this one. And the Dutch Lions need all the time they can get, where they've only had about 2 shots on goal in the first half, and they haven't had any offensive opportunities.
Yeah, Houston's kind of dominated this half. I mean, Austin, I don't know, we're kind of sitting back with the weather. We still got to step our lines up, get the center backs to half field and possess the ball. But I think with this weather and this rain, we're just, we're kind of, unless he's running to the locker room right now with our trainer. Let's see if let's hope it's nothing too bad.
Well, the fact that he's running helps him out in his case. And the first touch from there, Travis Golden gets it back.
Dempsey played with a broken nose, right? So
hey, there you go. I mean, according to soccer culture, you're playing with your feet.
Yeah. Noses and face, it's tough because it's one of those you definitely probably keep playing with it, but it's probably very painful.
Right. I mean, with all the headers that go through, every touch, big old headache. And down goes a Dutch Lions player, dropping like flies out here at House Park. 67 minutes gone, and he seems to be all right getting up. But coming through this, I mean, Perales has gotten his share in the second half. Getting the warm-up, getting a nice couple of goals in to block. I mean, that's the kind of intensity you want him to witness in the last game of the season to at least get him prepared. Free kick, take it from Contreras. Headed over right into Perales' hands. Slick and all, he holds on with a firm grip.
Yeah, you'll see. Coach Manning will probably make some substitutions here in a little bit and get some people some playing time. Obviously,
and chipper over, header to the middle. Lions take it back. Rain has subsided to a little drizzle right now. Relief to the fans as they still hide in their shelters. Lions trying to pick up their first goal. Things haven't changed for them so far. Gordon with it. Stolen from Sion.
But you know what? Good forward thinking from Houston. I've been impressed with them this half. They've we got a little break here.
Sion in the middle, trying to get a fast break over. Charging after Campbell. Back over the middle. Shobe, left foot. Rolls into the back of the net. A beautiful backward kick. And that's the third goal for the Austin Aztecs in the 68th minute. That might just be the end of the night for the Houston Dutch Lions. And then when it rains, it pours.
That is playbook counterattack. Playbook counterattack. Cito tracked all the way back to his own half, 10 yards into it, wins the ball, and gets a little pass from someone I can't remember, but looks up, does a fantastic switch across the field, 40 yards across to Eddie, who's got unbelievable pace. Good wherewithal for him to not go a goal because he sees Booba just streaking as fast as he can. And then Booba with a very cheeky little back heel. And again, with this AstroTurf, with this wet slickness, it doesn't take much. Just the slightest of, literally the slightest of his heel, just barely got on the back of that ball, and it slips in. But 3 passes, absolutely gorgeous, pretty much one-touch soccer. And there you go.
I don't know what Booba has against Houston, but both of his goals have come after the Dutch Lions. That's his second of the year.
And his good friend Kakuta used to terrorize them 2 years ago. So,
well, also excellent touch from Eddie Campbell. That's his first assist on the year, and the Lions trying to get back into this one. And it's booted away, 70th minute into the middle of the field. Michael Stewart with it.
And look at that pressure again. And, the counter is so on because Houston's pushing forward now.
I mean, even after that goal, Bouba Diop chasing after it with just intensity, still wants another. That's the difference. I mean, you get a goal, you want another. That's impressive.
And look at this space right here. Play it in front of him.
Tap just a little behind and forward, trying to get it off to Freed.
And, Jeff Harwell's in the game now. Yeah, Jeff just a little bit upset that ball got too far away with him because, wide open was Andy Fox there on the right-hand side. So we've got a couple subs in there. You got kind of a whole different midfield now with Foxy, Jeff Harwell, Danny Freed. Cito's still the one kind of remaining from the first half, and then you got Eddie and Bouba. So, a whole kind of squad change. You're right, though, about goalkeeper.
Right.
That would be good to see a change there. But obviously Adam Black comes off. Alessi comes off. Chewy comes off. A couple of those people need to get a rest.
And some changes for the Dutch Lions. Gustavo Alvarado and Lars Willemse. And on the field, no points on either side. And over on the right end, here's a chance. Crossover. Back to Joe. Back tip. And another
goodness. One. He scores another back heel. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. Fantastic goal.
Well, heels overhead this time. 2 in a row for him. And it is pouring goals for the Aztecs on a rainy night here in House Park. They lead it now 4-0. 72nd minute.
I honestly don't think I've seen soccer my whole life 2 back heel goals by a forward in a game. Granted, they were 2 minutes apart. I mean, I don't think he wants to shoot regular. I think he might as well just run with his back to goal.
Well, he's got 3 goals against the Lions this season. It's been just an incredible run for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's just absolutely feeling it. I mean, look, he might get another one here. That was unbelievable. I mean, what it goes to show you, Brooks, is, like I've been saying in the first half, get the ball on target. That shot wasn't that hard. It was a back heel. It was low, and it just slipped under the keeper. It was probably a keeper's mistake in all truthfulness, but getting a shot on target, or a heel for that matter, is it's 10 times scarier, and you'll never score when you're off target. So well done for Bouba. If he gets
wide open shot wide.
If he gets a hat trick with back heels, I would be incredibly impressed. That's something else. That's
I mean, just to have the ability to just calm yourself in those moments. Nice tap, wet field, back tip, get it through.
Yeah.
Twice. I mean, that is just a very good show of the type of player he can be. And at the PL level, I mean, whenever in a team that's going on to pro, we mentioned this in the halftime show, he's fighting for a spot. Could it be 3? The right side tries to tap it back.
Another back heel from him, but it didn't go. It wasn't anywhere near the goal this time.
Well, Lars Willemse is figuring, I've got you figured out. You're going with the back foot. Campbell on the left foot. Back to the middle, tries his shot. Over and in! Goal for Campbell!
This is getting out of hand. Wow.
3 goals in 6 minutes for the Austin Aztecs. They've equaled their season high against the Lions now.
Get these shots on target. I mean, that was a great deflection that they took, but fantastic job from Eddie. He cuts it back on his right foot, and he's been lethal on that. We saw a goal a month or so ago that was just unbelievable, top corner. I mean, Eddie is someone who can score goals, and so good for him. Yeah, he got a good deflection, but took a good shot and on goal, and that's what happened. The keeper was a little bit off his line, 3 or 4 yards off, and it ends up kind of bouncing right over him. But this is
well, you see Job and Harwell out there signaling back to each other, rolling their hands, just saying, "Hey, let's keep it going.
Let's keep going. Absolutely.
It going."
Yeah.
Whenever you play like this, you don't get many nights where it rains like this.
Well, let's have fun. We're rested. We've been on the bench the entire night. We've been soaking. Might as well get a run out. Might as well get some goals.
And they got to get their sweat to rain ratio back up. Moronos with it. Tapped into the middle. Pineda.
And now they're feeling it, right? Now any ball forward, you feel like you're going to score. It's almost kind of like when Brazil was just getting onslaughted by Germany. They were just, everyone's feeling it now. Get the ball to Cito. Get the ball to Bouba. Get the ball to Eddie. Let's put it in the back of the net.
Ryden trying to tap it forward, back to Ryden. Fast break once again. Campbell chasing. Out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in.
And I think you're also seeing a little bit of, heads down from Houston. They're kind of, this has been a long season for them. They're 5-0 away from home. The rain's coming on down. It's, it's tough. You got to keep working back. You got to keep tracking back, which is not the funnest to do, especially when down.
I mean, at 1-8-3, not many things to be happy about on a season as a whole. And, I mean, one of the relatively new teams in this league, 3 years, fairly young.
Yeah, like I said, I'd love to see Houston, the Dutch Lions, be a better squad next year. I'd like to see them incorporate. Again, Houston's a hotbed for soccer.
Well,
I think they're calling this.
There have been flashes of lightning, and I believe the official is taking a thunder break. On USL PDL, weather delays are 30 minutes apiece, but the clock's still running here. See how they call this one. I mean, up 5-0. I mean, is there any aspect of the rule where they just might call it?
You would have to think he just calls the game. I mean, I think it'd be ridiculous to have these players sit around for 30 minutes for a game that doesn't mean any sense to come back out there for 15 minutes.
Right.
5-0 down. I mean, it's a whole different ballgame, Brooks, if this is a playoff game and it's 1-1 and we're going into the final 20 minutes of a game. But 5-0 down for the last game, this is...
And especially after a few players already going down with injuries, you come back out and risk it again after that. I mean, I no signal yet from whether the game is over.
If I was Coach Manny, and I'm sure he is, I don't know what he's doing, or even the Houston coach, I'd say, hey, let's let's call this game. Credit to the fans for already staying out here. I don't think there's any point wasting pretty much an hour to play 15 minutes, but it looks like they...
That's it. They're calling it.
Oh, they are, yeah. Did they call it?
Yeah, still waiting official word, but on the field, going into
looks like they
post-game rituals here with the fans, thanking them for coming. And still waiting official word, but up 5-0. Weather delays. I believe they're going to call this one.
Coach Manny looks happy. I see the good old fist bump. That looks like a game to me.
That's it.
Kind of an interesting send-off. It looked like Houston didn't even really know, and they knew, but they not a lot of shaking of hands. Now there is a little bit, but an interesting way. But I mean, smart call by the refs. I think that'd have been ridiculous to have everyone come back on with their wet, soaking jerseys to play 15 more minutes of soccer.
Well, officially, and the game is over. Aztecs win this one with the final 5-0, and the rain was the only thing that could stop the fire.
Yeah.
At this point, 3 goals.
And it didn't.
No. And, I mean, what a heck of a way to finish off the season. I mean, going in next week, they'll go into the Southern Conference Championship, waiting whether it be Laredo, if Houston somehow comes back and wins on Saturday, or whether it be Ocala. I mean, Coach Manny definitely excited with what he saw tonight in the second half.
Coach Manny's got that amazing smile as well. He's grinning ear to ear. He's in a great position. I mean, like we said before this game, what are we going to take away from this game? Well, it's a good tune-up. You can quote-unquote call it a preseason game, even though that's not what it is at all. And again, with all due respect to Houston, but it is a preseason for this second season, which is the more important season, which is playoff time, crunch time. And so this is the time for us to tune up, us to play well, to get goals. You see Booba come on and get 2. You see Eddie come on as a substitute and get 1. Adam Black and Cito both get 1 apart. So to get 5 goals with 4 scores is a huge feat. And what did I say in the beginning of the game? Devin wants a clean sheet. That goalkeeper is a rock. He's our leader. He's incredibly competitive. He organizes that back line. And, great job. Great all-around job from the substitutes to the team. Travis Golden in the back, Pineda. Kalen had a great game. Cruzazono. So, it was a great game.
Right, and that's the final for you, 5-0. Austin Aztecs win. We'll be back in a quick minute for the final. We'll wrap it up here on the postgame show, get the player of the game, and take a look forward into the playoffs and how things will wrap up for the rest of the USL PDL. Stay with us.
This one's cleared out quick. That's a nice look.
And welcome back to the broadcast. Aztecs win this one 5-0 in a canceled game when the rain just wouldn't let up and the weather wouldn't let up, and so wouldn't the Aztecs. And the Aztecs go through scoring 3 goals in the second half, 2 off the back foot of Bubba Job going to the end. Just in this post-game show, just what did you see from this Aztecs team? And I'm sure the play of the game comes from that end.
Yeah, no, I saw an all-around good team effort. I mean, from coaching, from back end, from players, even from the fans. I mean, coming out and just this complete onslaught for them to staying in there. Absolutely. I mean, it was just a good team win and the perfect win, honestly. I mean, 5-0 with 15 minutes to play. Like I said earlier, 5 goals coming from 4 players. A lot of people getting playing time. A clean sheet on the defensive front. I mean, just an all-around, just a good win, just a good effort. I know Coach Manny's excited, and it's just a good sending off. I mean, this is a team you wanted. It's a perfect position to have where you're like, let's take care of this game and let's gear up for next week. Because I tell you, I don't think Coach Manny would have been wanting to battle it out with Laredo or battle it out for Midland Odessa in the last game with this weather. I mean, that just wouldn't have been that fun.
All right, and as impressed as we both were with the 2 goals from Bubba Job, I'm guessing from your end, I won't assume things, but is that your play of the game?
Absolutely. I mean, he only got, 20 minutes of playing or something like that, but to come on and score 2 back heels in a 3-minute period is ridiculous. I mean, that's what you want out of a center forward or a goal scorer, is just to score, and he did it, and he did it with the back of his shoe. So, I mean, again, like I've said, in all my years, I've seen back heels, of course, but I haven't seen 2 successive back heels in that short amount of time. I mean, I don't think he even got a regular shot on goal. So great job on his end. He would definitely be my player of the match. But like I mentioned earlier, total team effort. Devin would also be someone who could, maybe share that attribute with him, or maybe win defensive player of the match, if you will, for keeping a shutout and some big saves as well. I mean, they had chances, and he even got a little bit banged up as well. So he played very well.
All right, and playing well all around for the Aztecs. They finish off the season with fashion and flurry, and they go on finishing off the season with 35 total points on the season. And still some storylines left in the USL PDL. Laredo taking on Houston on Saturday to decide whether they go into the playoffs and face the Austin Aztecs next week here in Austin. We'll see whether the weather will be the same, but definitely will be something to look forward to. So, thanks for all of you guys joining us tonight here on Texas Student Television and on KVRX 91.7 FM. I'd like to remind you that this broadcast was brought to you by Verizon 4G LTE. It's been a great regular season, and with more Aztec soccer to come, certainly will be a lot to look forward to. So for Ross Kelly, I'm Brooks Cabina, and good night.